Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing really well. Today I'm going to show you the second part of the first part of the video where I made this little I never know what to call them. Is it a folio? Is it a journal? Is it just an ephemera thing? I'm not sure, I don't know, but whatever it is, we're going to make it. And I'm hoping that my camera plays ball today because it didn't last week. Just a quick side note, I do have two fans running at the moment. It's quite warm in here and I've got the girls, got both doggies with me, so I want to make sure that they're nice and cool. If the background noise is too much, I probably will have to do a voiceover, but I'm going to try my hardest not to. I do prefer doing these videos kind of like live, I suppose. But yeah, other than that, I think that's all the housekeeping done. I don't need to rabbit on about anything else. So this is what I actually made on video last time, but it was corrupted, so you didn't actually get to see me do it. So I'm just going to literally remake this out of these DL envelopes. Now if you are a Patreon member, you will receive 3 of these. Yes, you'll receive 3 of these in your pack. They're really easy, to get hold of anyway. You can use recycled junk mail envelopes, or you can purchase a bulk bag of these on Amazon, which is exactly what I've done with these. So you will get 3 in your pack, and that is all we're going to need to make that book. The 4th one that I've kept to the side is purely for window purpose. So this is what I have done. This is what I had done to make my life a lot easier when it comes to covering the windows of the envelopes. And all you want to do, I'm not gonna actually do it, I'm just gonna explain it to you. So obviously this is what you're left with. All you want to do is just open up your envelope. You want to cut down this fold. I used a craft knife. I just literally took my craft knife and just cut down that fold there, and again at the top cut there. Then once you have that, you can cut this flap off, and then obviously this will then become a flap on this side. So you're essentially cutting the top and the bottom off, and you're left with this. Well, actually no, you're left with that, but it's got like a plastic covering over it. You can leave that on, but I decided to take mine off so that I could draw on the inside of the template. They're really easy to peel off, they just fall off nice and easy. But if not, just use your craft knife and go around the edge to get that off. You'll see where I've ripped mine. It was really easy to get off. So yeah, these come in handy. It's a little bit like the other envelope template that I made from an envelope. It's just a lot easier to use as a template rather than trying to guess sizes and things like that. So let's start with the assembly of the book, folio, journal thing. I'm not sure what to call it. So you want to start off by deciding if you want to actually keep the windows within your design. So here I've left the window in my design here, so it just gives a little bit of a contrasting decoration. Or you can choose to completely cover it and just ignore the window totally. It's totally up to you. Each way looks just as nice, and each has its own ups and downs. So you'll see on the inside of this one, I did just cover the envelope windows, but on the outside covers I left them plain, just left them cut out, just so I had a little bit of, I don't know, I just wanted, I think because I knew it was going to be quite patchworky, putting this together, I think that just added to the patchwork vibe, so that's why I kept that in. And today I will be also keeping that in. I will do my inside pages the same also. So that means that you will need to cover 2 windows. Now if you want to see what is going into your pocket, you want to place your decorative piece on this flap here. This piece is too big, but I'll show you what I mean. So you want to glue it on that back piece so that when you are putting something inside you can see it, because it's glued to this back flap. If you don't want it to be seen, which is what I've done, I don't really want mine to be seen, you want to glue it directly to your window, so then no matter what you put in, it's going to be hidden behind that paper. I hope that makes sense. I'll show you what I'm going to do anyway. So I'm going to decorate 2, which will end up being my outside covers. I'm going to place my decorative piece on the side of the window because I do not want to see what is put into the pocket. So I had some scraps. Where have they gone? Here we go. So here's my scrap, and I'm just going to use it. I'm just going to make sure actually that it is actually big enough. I think it's just about big enough to fit, so that's perfect. So we need a little bit of room to glue, so we'll just snip there. So I want 2 of these. I'm going to keep them the same, but you can, the thing with these is you can go as detailed as you like. You can change up the decoration papers that you're using so that you have a different one in each window, which is what I've done here. So I've got a plain blue there and a pattern blue there. You could even design something specifically to go inside the window, so you could layer up bits and pieces so that you had, instead of this little birdie on the outside, he could have been on the inside of the window. So it's totally up to you what you want to do. I'm just going to keep mine nice and plain, so I'm just going to glue mine to this side of the envelope because I don't want anything to be seen when I put stuff into the pockets. And you also want to make sure you're placing your glue on the pattern side of your paper if you're doing it the way that I'm doing it. So I'm just going to, I think my glue may give out at any moment. It's been threatening to for the past week or so. So just want a small amount of glue down each edge, and then you just want to carefully, because otherwise the glue is going to glue your pocket together if you get it anywhere else, you just want to carefully place that inside the envelope, making sure obviously it's nice and straight. Don't worry if you get, I don't know if you can see, but I've got glue on my window there. It really doesn't matter because it's going to dry clear, so you won't even see it. It's already disappeared. So I'm just using my scrapey tool here just to flatten down and make sure that that is all in place. And then once I've done that, I'm just going to go and make sure that no glue has seeped out and stuck my envelope together. And then I will do the exact same for this one. Okay, so we now have our 2 cover pieces that have their windows, the inside covered. So we'll have this one as our back cover. So you want to start with your back cover. I find it the easiest way to do this. So you start with your back cover and your central page, and all you want to do is place your back cover face down onto your desk and open up this top ceiling flap. Then you want to do the exact same with your centerpiece. So this one, I'm going to cover this window so I don't need to do anything with it, which is why I know this is my cover, my inside piece. And you literally just want to place this directly on top of your back cover, getting as straight as possible, lined up as possible, and then you just want to glue these 2 ceiling flaps together. Okay, so I'm just going to apply my glue. Actually, I'm just going to make sure that that is actually straight along that fold, because otherwise you'll get a wonky envelope and you don't want that. So yeah, we'll just place some glue on this outside piece and fold that over to glue down on that next flap. So there we have, that's our inside page, that is obviously our inside page as well, and this is our back cover. Okay, now to make the front cover, all you want to do is grab your other cover piece and place it on the left hand side of the other envelope. So the two ceiling flaps are now going to be touching together, and we now need to glue those two flaps together. So repeat that same process of just applying the glue onto the flap, and then I like to just lift up this flap so that it is flush to the desk, nice and flat. Same with the cover piece, line it up at the bottom so that the covers obviously are going to be matching, and then glue those together like so. Just make sure that they're fully adhered down. Lovely. Okay, so I'm going to show you my way of doing it, but when you try this, you can experiment as much as you like. I'm going to close up this pocket here, so this pocket isn't going to be used, but you could leave that open if you wanted to. You could come up with your own options. It's totally up to you, but for now I'm just going to show you what I done with that original book. So now that we've got all the three flaps glued together, you now just want to push these flaps to the right, and then this little piece here, this bottom ceiling flap, bring that up so that it covers those flaps in the center, and we can just glue that down, and that just keeps everything in place nice and neat, tucked away, so we don't have to worry about, well, what are we going to do with these? I mean, you could attach a page to that, another page, you could seal an envelope and then put the envelope over it, like I say, or you can just hide it, decorate it, and you then have 3 pockets. It's totally up to you, honestly. The ideas are kind of endless, which is why I'm kind of sticking with one idea. I don't know, maybe I should make a whole series on like exactly what it is that you could make out of 3D envelopes. Yeah, let me know if that's something that you think would work or be worthwhile doing. So we've now got that stuck down, and the book is essentially made. So we have our front cover, our inside cover with the pocket. This pocket has been sealed, so we have a full page. I'm going to completely cover this page, so again we have another full page, and then here again we have another pocket. Just obviously be careful, because now I've applied pressure, my pocket has stuck together, which is annoying, but it does happen. Easily fixed as well. Okay, so that is that. The next thing that I do like to do is I just like to cut off these little flat bits here. It just makes it a lot easier when you're going to cover the page and the pocket. So just bear with me and you'll see what I mean. But I just like to take my craft knife and just try, that one wasn't very straight, but just try and cut that as straight as possible. I find the craft knife is the easiest way to do it, because with scissors it's not very neat. You kind of either get raggedy edges or you can't quite get into it. So I do bring in my scissors just to snip that piece off, because that's a lot easier. And we do this one. And then I'm just going to repeat and do the same on this back envelope. Okay, so let's Should we decorate the inside first? I think on the other one I decorated the outside first, but I'm gonna change things up and go for the inside. Let me just prepare the covers. So, oh, do you know what? I forgot to mention that there's going to be a free download of this video in written instructions available on Ko-fi. So if you learn more by reading rather than watching, please feel free to download that, and it just tells you everything I'm telling you here, but written down, so you can print it out or leave it on your computer, whatever's easiest. So now we just want to decorate our inside pages. So this one here is obviously a pocket, and what you want to do is cut your decorative pieces to size. Now you can either just line it up and, you know, cut around with no measuring, but if you would like the measurements, it is 19 by 22 centimeters, and that just means that it fits perfectly within this pocket. You do have to obviously maneuver it around because now we've cut that piece off. Do you see what I mean with that, how I've cut that off, and now it's a lot easier to get in. If you had those flaps, they just get in the way. It's very annoying. And of course our window piece is getting in our way, so you do have to maneuver around certain elements, but you'll see those measurements will give you the perfect amount of paper to decorate the inside pieces. So making sure that they are lined up nice and neat, don't want no wonky page edges. We can now just glue that down into place. So I just lift up this piece and apply loads and loads and loads and loads of glue to make sure that it's definitely stuck down, and then give it a good old spread with my scraper. I tried to make this as easy as possible, which is why I gave you those measurements, so that you can just get and go kind of thing. You don't need to sit and work it out yourself. So it should be nice and easy for you. So that's that side nicely stuck down, and now I'm just going to untuck this piece. Oh, I think it's stuck. What's this? Oh no, it's just stuck on the edge. And we're just going to do the same, so you just need to be really careful when you are gluing and putting it in that you don't get your glue absolutely everywhere, but as long as you're careful you should be fine. I just tend to put just a smaller amount of glue along this edge here, I'm hoping I'm in frame, and then just slather the glue onto this bit, so it's definitely not going to go anywhere, and you may have less chance of glue kind of spreading all over your piece. So I just kind of push this back, lift up my flap and ease it in nice and gently. Obviously I've got to be careful because of that window piece. See, it's snagging on that window piece. But nicely, easily fixed. That was so easy. I love it when something is so easy to do and you're just like, oh, that worked perfectly first go. So again, just giving it a nice good flatten with my scraper, and then refolding into a book form. And again, just going to fold that, recrease that line because we've obviously flattened it out a little bit. So now we have our first page fully decorated, well, not fully decorated but covered at least, and then I'm just going to do the exact same thing with this page. Now if you have decided that you would like to have your window showing, all you need to do is, before you glue this down, it's so important, you must do this before you glue it, place your piece of paper exactly where you want it, and taking your template here, place it over the top, lining it up as perfectly as you can with the edges, and literally just draw around this piece here and then cut it, and then that will give you the perfect placement and also sizing for your pocket. But obviously this one I'm just going to cover it because I think it's easier, so I'll do that and then I'll be back. Okay, so now we have our inside pages covered. That one was a bit of a pain to do, but eventually got it covered. Now let's cover the pockets. So again, for the pockets I have given you the measurements on the free download, but I believe they were 7.8 by 22 centimeters. And I've just pre-cut mine just so it would be easier for me to just crack on with this tutorial. I'm actually going to use that one here. So what I do is I completely cover my pocket like so, but if you wanted to, you could utilize this little flap from the envelope and you could ink it up or leave it, totally up to you, and then have it kind of so that you can actually see that it's a flap and it's a pocket and you can use it. So just glue this piece directly onto your pocket flap. Oh, I should also mention, I've done it again, I've done this last time, if you want to ink your work, do it before you glue it, because you're not going to be able to get on the inside of the pocket. So I'm not worried about the other edges, I'm just worried about this top edge that's going to be going along here. I'm not going to be able to get that once it's glued, so please remember to do that before you glue it down. Now we can glue. And then you just want to do the exact same with this pocket piece. So again, I am just going to ink my top edge. There we go. So now our two inside pages are covered and our pockets are also covered. That looks so lovely. So now should we do the cover? Now with this one, like I said, it is a bit patchworky. You can obviously work around this by using other materials, so larger pieces of paper, wrapping paper, tissue paper, whatever it is that you want, but at the moment all I had to hand was my A4 digital packs, so that's what I'm going to be using to decorate mine. And if you are going to follow along and you do the same as me, you will see, I'm just trying to choose a nice little cover piece. I think I might go for that script one, this one. Yeah, so if you're going to follow along with me, you'll see that this A4 sheet of paper doesn't reach all the way around, because I do like to bring it so that it kind of covers that spine, and it just gives it a little bit of a reinforced spine that way. So what I do is make sure that my paper is the right way up. I'm just going to trim off my white edges so that I know exactly what it is that I'm working with. Perfect. Okay, so the idea is that this is going to butt up like so to cover the cover, and then I am going to, once it's glued into place, I'm going to fold it over and then glue this down. But what I don't want to do is have to cut out this window twice, so I'm going to snip and cut this kind of like here, and then use a different sheet of paper to decorate this where I will cut out the window. I don't want to have to do it twice. It's not annoying, it's just, why do that when you can just save yourself the ag and just do this. So we're just going to fold that there so that I know that's where I want to cut. Place it on my mat as straight as possible, please. And there we go, and then just cut where I folded, so that then I just don't have to sit and cut three windows out, because I've got to do this front cover as well, haven't I? So it's just one less thing to do. Is that the right way around? No, that's not. That's what I wanted. So yeah, again, sorry, I'll just quickly show you. So that's going to butt up like that. I'll cut the bottom off afterwards. Then when we fold this around, I've got some room to play with the next sheet of paper. So we now need to cut out our window for this front cover. So just realign your decorative piece with your envelope cover, and then place your template directly on top as exactly where that window is going to be underneath. Grab your pencil and draw around the inside of the window. Like that. And now we have this little bit here that we can now cut out. So I'm just going to give that a quick little cut with my knife so that I can easily get in. Actually, I need my smaller scissors. I find it a lot easier to do it with my smaller scissors. So we'll just continue that cut up into that line and then follow it around. Okay, so there we have our, sorry, that was the fan, cut out piece. Now I know that some of you are going to be looking at this and thinking, oh my gosh, that's so messy. It's not, I haven't cut right up to the line, I've got some jagged edges there. It really doesn't bother me. This is meant for a junk journal, so I like the ragged look, and I'm going to ink it anyway, so it's just going to kind of make it more raggedy when I ink it. I am just going to rub out any lines that I didn't cut previously, and then I'll ink it. That is sufficiently inked for me. I'll bring in my cover piece and we'll place it back to where it should be, and there you have a perfectly framed window. I love it. Okay, so now we're just going to glue the cover down. Can you even tell that I've done a bit of a wonky cut? Can you even tell that it's a bit raggedy? Not perfectly straight? I don't think you can, and that's what annoys me sometimes, is I force myself to get things absolutely perfect, but then when I kind of submit to it and realise I can't get it perfect but it will have to do, and I think, oh no, I don't know, I can get it more perfect, I look at it and think, but there's nothing wrong with it, it's handmade. So just stop beating yourself up and leave it as it is. Please take my advice. Stop beating yourself up and take it as it is. I'm just going to trim off this excess bottom piece here. Just going to line it up with my ruler and craft knife. Lovely. Then just going to glue this overhang here. Go on, you can get on the bed, darling. Get yourself comfy. Go on. Good girl. Okay, so that is our front cover, and this is the back cover. So the back cover is obviously still a work in progress. I'm going to choose another piece of, actually I think I'm just going to use this was scrapped from the pocket, what was it? Yeah, so the pocket. So I'm just going to use this piece here, and like I say, I didn't want to have to cut around this window twice. That's why I've cut it short here. However, I will be overlapping quite a bit on this side, so it's just it's a preference thing. If you want to cut it out twice, 3 times, go ahead, not a problem. I just really didn't want to have to do that. I'm just going to mark here on the back side of this paper just to give me, that's the size that I want to cover the back. So I'll just cut this off. And then I'm just going to do the same, line it up like so and mark off there so I can cut that off so it's nice and flush. Oh, picking up wads of paper as well. Okay, so now we have our completed back panel. I think it might be a little bit too long, but I can tidy that up afterwards. So again, we want to cut out our window, so placing our piece here, grabbing our template and aligning with the envelope underneath. We're just going to draw again around the inside of that template, cut it out and then ink it. I'm also just going to ink along this edge here, because obviously once that's glued down I won't be able to do it, so, and that's going to be the topmost pattern, so that's going to be seen, so just give that a really quick ink. And there we go, and now we can just glue that into place like we've done on the cover. So there we have it. That is the book, folio, whatever it is you want to call it. That is it, made, done and dusted. Now that all that is left is the decoration. I don't think I'm going to decorate on camera, just because I feel like I do my best work when I'm not being filmed. I feel like I'm under pressure when I'm being filmed, and I can be a bit more free and experimental when there's not a camera rolling. So I have all of the rest of the Patreon Happy Mail bundle ready to go. I may use some of this. I've got the vintage buttons that we've included, and just some ephemera that came with this pack that I was using. So I'm just going to decorate. I'll come back and show you how I finished my book. It's now a couple of days later and I have finally finished my little folio book item thing. Unfortunately I did film this video live just to be an extra add-on piece to the end of the video, but I had 2 fans running and it really messed up my sound, so I just had to do a really quick voiceover for you. Also, Nelly does make a very quick appearance. She was feeling very hot and bothered, so we had a little bit of loving, a little bit of a chat, a little bit of a kiss. I did promise her that I would take her downstairs and fill up her pool for her so she could have a play in her pool. She's been desperate to get in there all morning, but there's no water in it at the moment, so I will definitely do that for her. She decided to lay down for like half a second and then thought better of it and went to the window to see what else was happening out there. So yeah, this is my finished item. I used some white and peach lace and also a button from the patron pack just to finish off the cover. I added some ephemera pieces to the back, nothing too fancy, just some floral and a little paper doily. But I did want to keep the cover quite muted, quite empty, I suppose, because I didn't want to overdo it. So then on the insides, I literally just decorated as I wanted, added my ephemera. Those tags were part of the patron Happy Mail. I just added this little pocket down the bottom here and added a couple of stickers up the top, so just filled with ephemera, and done the exact same on the other side of the page. So just added another pocket with lots of ephemera, some stickers, and then added some ephemera inside of the back cover pocket. So yeah, I mean, I did go on to explain it in the end of this video that the ideas were kind of endless with this. You could have flips and flaps coming out anywhere you wanted. You could add and take bits from it. You could have a flap there, a flap there, a flap there, and you could have envelopes coming out left, right and centre. And I kind of was discussing how many ideas there would be with a DL envelope, and maybe I should do like a whole series on how to use envelopes, like DL envelopes, like jump mail, or just bulk bought like I have done. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments, and I might also put out a poll on my community page. So yeah, I'd best go and fill up Nellie's pool so that she can get nice and cool. So I hope you all have a lovely weekend, and hope you spend it crafting as much as you can, and have a great time. And I'll speak to you in the next one. Thanks everyone. Bye.